PD Beats here from Pop Turner, speaking to Lauren LaVera about Terrifier 3 in theaters nationwide October 11th. Welcome back to the show. It's so good to see you again.
It's so good to see you. I'm so happy to be back. Thank you for having
Oh
me.
my goodness. I mean, you know, as soon as the announcement came out that we were getting a Terrifier 3, and even before, whether you like find out that your character's coming back or not, what's going through your mind that they're making a third installment? Like what's going after kind of being part of the second specifically?
Well, I was aware of the journey that Sienna would take when I was cast, so it wasn't a huge surprise to me.
Okay.
I mean, definitely I was surprised with some of the stuff that was in the script. I have an idea of where Damien wants to go, but at the same time, he's constantly thinking of ideas and constantly like just thinking on the fly, which is, I think, very inspiring and what I
Yeah.
love about him. So there were definitely some surprises, but I was very excited, and I was waiting for years. I was like, when are we doing this? When are we doing this film? Because we filmed the second one mostly 2019 into 2020. So I just felt it took too long to get here. So I was happy to be here.
Take us through the first week of finding out what's going on for Terrifier 3, even if you don't have the full scripts, but like Damien telling you that it's going to be Christmas, are the clowns coming back? You might be dressed up as Santa Claus. Like, what's going through your mind kind of starting to figure out the journey of Terrifier 3?
Yeah, I mean, well, I just start to get right to work when I
Yeah.
when I know that when I get, and he sent me the entire script, and I saw different versions of the script. So I wasn't really too focused on, oh, this is going to be Christmas. Even though when I did find out it was going to be Christmas, I wasn't psyched about it because it's not my favorite holiday. I don't enjoy Christmas. There's just something very contrived about Christmas
Yeah.
to me. Like I'm a Halloween person,
Yeah.
but I do love me a horror Christmas movie. So I was
Spooky.
very
It's coming on in spooky season, so it's good timing.
exactly. So it will at least give me something to look forward to for Christmas. Yeah, I just started getting to work. I reached out to my acting coach, Brian Fox. He's amazing. He's my secret weapon. And we just started doing scene work together. And that was really, that was what I was focusing on when I found out. All I wanted to do was get to work because I was excited to get back on set for this.
And then perfect segue. It's perfect segue to my next question. It's almost like you knew what I was going to ask. It's crazy. So much happens before you go to camera on Terrifier 3, right? Like kind of like you said, the work starts as soon as you kind of figure out what's going on with the scripts and everything. So from an acting storyteller perspective, you can see it as two journeys, right? Before filming Terrifier 3 and then after filming Terrifier 3, or do you see it as one big journey with multiple steps in between? I'm curious about that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if I ever really, when I'm in it, think of it in terms of a journey. I just really think of diving in deep as quickly as possible. But I do reach out to Damien immediately with my questions about the script for clarity or just for ideas. And he's so receptive and he's so collaborative that it's easy to do that. And once they kind of get more solidified, I will reach out to my coach, Brian, as I mentioned, and in the studio or over Zoom, we'll just like work these scenes together,
Mm.
and we make discoveries, and that's what I love about him. He might notice things that I didn't, and actually that happens a lot. And we were just trying to decide and really dive deep into Sienna's mental state. And that was also some work I did on my own by reaching out to mental health facilities and watching
Yes,
YouTube videos of people suffering from PTSD. And
absolutely.
then you hope that all of that work, all that preparation will, or some of it will stick when you're on set. Because when you're on set, you can't think about that. You just
No,
go, you try to be spontaneous, and you hope that that work seeps its way through. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And you just hope to find the honesty and the truth in the scene. And that's
it's
my part about the work.
it's funny because you with that the answer to that question I just asked, you actually answered another question I was going to ask you. So I'm probably like I was just going to ask you like because it's so over the top and so much happens and it's bigger and the scale's bigger for Terrifier 3, it's bloodier and everything. Do you ever think about the audience member watching Terrifier 3 like while you're making it and seeing all the effects and all the blood and everything, or is that something that happens after you wrap?
It's real. I really try to stay present in the
Yeah.
moment.
It's hard sometimes though, especially with a movie like this where you're probably seeing all the effects and like the blood, the makeup.
It's true. So when the scenes I'm not in, yes, the scenes I am in, I'm focused on the work and I'm focused
Yep.
on being just present. But the scenes I'm not in, I'll look at like whoever's next to me, which is usually like Olga or Sam. And Sam, who plays Victoria Hayes, was in a lot of the scenes. I thought this. I would look at the person next to me and be like, shit, like people are gonna go crazy when they see this.
Yeah.
Um, because I get to be an audience member in those moments. But there were definitely times where I was like, wow, I know people are gonna go crazy and are really going to enjoy what
Mhm.
I had just witnessed. So yeah.
By the time this interview is out, it will be out nationwide October 11th, but we don't want to go into big spoilers.
Yeah.
Every time you make a new film, I mean,
Mhm.
Damien will say this too, right? I mean, you like the whole point is how can we make it better? How can we make it bigger? What are we going to do that's different from the Terrifier 2? What are we going to take that worked in Terrifier 2 and put it also in Terrifier 3? So without spoilers, what can you say about Terrifier 3 that, you know, pushes the envelope compared to the second one, or like stuff that's different about this one that you really enjoyed from your perspective and your character that we're going to be able to see in theaters?
Yes. Well, I don't think this is a spoiler because I think Damien has said it
If
out
it
loud.
is, it's not the end of the world because like by the time it will be out, I'll just put a little spoiler thing, but you know what I mean? So yeah.
True, true. That's true. Well, children are killed in
Okay.
this one. I have my opinion on how it was done. I think it was done as tastefully as it could be for a
Yeah.
horror film, and there's also animal cruelty in this film in its own right. So I think I don't think there are much lines that haven't been crossed in this film, but I do think Damien he goes there, but I don't think he does it in a way that's completely tasteless, which is why it's why I enjoy watching these films. Like it's definitely self-aware. It knows what it's doing and it's fun. I mean, considering what we're doing, it's fun to watch. So the envelope has been pressed and pushed and buttons will definitely be pushed, but I do think what will be the one of the more interesting reactions will be the blasphemy in the film,
Okay.
that hasn't really been talked about yet in reviews, but I do think that there will be some unassuming people that enter and won't be happy with that aspect of it.
You're banned for under 18 in France.
I know, yeah.
Like banned, like in like under 18, you can't see Terrifier 3 in France.
This is
So
true. Although, even with that in mind, I just got the news that it's currently #1 in the box office in France, despite it being banned to under 18. So, in my opinion, I'm sure there are
oh,
some.
I wasn't saying it. I was just stating, you know what I mean?
No,
That
no,
it is, yeah, yeah.
but what I'm saying is, I'm sure, even though it is banned, I'm sure some teens have found their way
Oh, yeah, yeah.
into.
It was funny.
Yeah.
There was a film that came out recently about that, the 4:30 p.m. movie Lionsgate. Kevin Smith directed it, and like we talked about that, about like what was the first movie that you snuck into, and what was the first PG-13 movie you were allowed to go to, and they're like two different answers, of completely different movies, right?
Oh yeah, no, that's actually a really good question because my mom won't like it because she's an incredible mom and but
Mhm.
she let me watch a lot of media growing up. And I think but she did it I was supervised. So like she did it she probably knew that I would find my way like a lot of these
Yeah,
teens do. So she was like, "Well, at least let me watch it with you so I can guide you through."
100%.
It." I can't remember what those movies were, but so
Yeah.
able to watch most of them.
Well, it's funny too because I'm a filmmaker as well. I just got back from Vancouver and just wrapped Sawtooth Mountain, which is a Bigfoot horror film that I'm producing right now, feature film. Yeah. So and it's funny because I always go back and I feel like the Terrifiers do this in a little bit in a way, and that's why I think they're very popular. Is there's this like there was that boom of like early 2000 horror films that I really loved, right? Like The House of Wax and like The Descent, all those. And like and they had the best soundtracks. Like I'm a metal fan, heavy metal fan. I'm doing a very cool Terrifier 3 plug here. Is Ice Nine Kills have a song, a work of art, and they have a music video. And I interviewed Spencer Charnas. That interview is available on our YouTube channel now. That's gonna be coming out soon. I love the relationship between like metal music and like horror movies. And I'm wondering what you think about that because you have Chris Jericho in your films as well. He's got Fozzy. Like I'm wondering what do you think about that correlation? There's like a good kind of like relationship between the two.
You're absolutely right. And I mean, I grew up loving metal. Like, and it's funny because Spencer knows this and we've talked about it. I loved Avenged Sevenfold growing up,
Yep.
and he opened, I think, for Avenged Sevenfold
Yep.
in the past. And it's funny because we watched the other night at the New York premiere the film, and of course the A Work of Art, his music video played. And I turned to my partner and I was like, if this came out when I was a teen, this would have been my anthem. And it was just it's true, they do go hand in hand. And I think if you love one, it more often than not you're going to love the other. And thank God they do. And it's just this form of expression on, you know, opposite ends of the spectrum, one being music and one being storytelling, like film storytelling. And they just go so well together. And like I said, thank God for that, because they complement each other when it comes to film.
Absolutely. No, it's so crazy. Whether you've been in a set one time or thousands of times, you're always going to learn something new. Specifically with Terrifier 3 compared to maybe Terrifier 2, what were some learning experiences on that journey and working on that set specifically that you'll take for future projects down the road?
Oh man, that's a hard question. I think I'd have to think about that. Learning experiences. Um, I don't think I really learned anything new this time around that I already probably learned from Terrifier 2. I learned a lot from Terrifier 2.
Yeah.
Uh, I think stay hydrated was a big one,
Oh,
and especially because of the nature of what I had to do. I have to learn to preserve my energy a bit because
yep.
I'm the type of actor that when even when I'm not on screen, I try to give my scene partner everything so they
Yep.
can feel what I'm feeling and they can react accordingly. And I did have a couple actors who were like, you don't have to do that. Like it's you don't have to. Bryce, who plays my uncle specifically, was like, I appreciate it, but you don't have to do it. But then the next time we did it, he was like, actually, I appreciated that. I think I needed that for that scene. So I don't know. I'm still like going back and forth and deciding. You know how to be on set, and I think it's different with every set that you're on. You have to constantly evolve and be a chameleon, at least as an actor, but I think most departments can attest to this. That you just kind of have to be fluid and you have to be collaborative. So I probably learned something new that's specific to every set experience, if that makes
I find it
sense.
pretty funny how you started that answer with like, I don't think I've learned anything new at Terrifier 3, and then like you actually like you did learn a lot, it sounds like.
Yeah. Like, but I think it was specific to Terrifier 3.
100%, absolutely. No, for sure. It's interesting because it's like I feel like you just learn by doing though, right?
Yeah,
I feel like
absolutely.
that's a big thing too, right? Like so, but yeah, last question before we wrap up. The term scream queen is being used
Yeah.
specifically with you. They're saying Lauren LaVera is the new scream queen. And I just straight up, I just wanted to know, like, what do you think about that term? What do you think about the fact that people are using that for you, for your Terrifier films? Like, what do you think about that? Is it crazy? Are you excited? Do you not think about it much? Like, being kind of the new spooky season scream queen. Like, what's that like for you?
Oh, I like how you put it, spooky season, Scream Queen, because
Yeah.
I love spooky season. It's my favorite time of year. If it were up to me, it would be Halloween all year round. So it's when I think about it, it's really nice to think if people think of me, they will think of Halloween. That makes me very happy because it's my favorite time of year. But I don't know. I don't know if I've really earned the title. I mean, people say that I have, and I certainly hope so. I've worked very hard. But I've met a lot of horror heroines that really are incredible that I've looked up to over the past 2 years. And I always I see them as that, and I just see me as I don't know, me, a mess who's trying to get through life. I'm honored and humbled by the title, and I hope that I continue to have the opportunity to entertain people in this way.
Yep.
And I'm just thrilled that people have put me in the same thought process or sentence as these women that I love.
Absolutely. You're so good at what you do. You're such a great person. I'm so happy for you and all your success, honestly, Lauren. I want to say that. Um, Terrifier 3, nationwide, October 11th, spooky season, perfect time. The buzz is there. People are going to go see it. Art the Clown is back doing whatever the heck he does. Uh, Lauren, so good chatting with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It was such a pleasure seeing you again. And congratulations on your short film and everything else it seems you've been doing. You've been busy. So yeah, I can't wait to watch it.
I really appreciate that. Your Instagram account is just your name if you want to keep up to date with everything.
Yep, just at Lauren LaVera.
Awesome. Well, this has been Pop Turnip, youtube.com/PopTurnip for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Lauren LaVera, who you can catch in Terrifier 3 and PD Beats, signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.